Hey y'all, how you doing? How you feeling? How's your day been? I'm Takara, and this is my husband.
Kylan was good, Joe. And as you can see, today I have fully unleashed the fro
Yes.
in all of its glory.
Yes.
Which is what today's episode will be about: hair.
Hair.
Our journeys with it and what that experience has been like for the both of us, trying to reach a place of peace with our hair
Mm-hmm.
and everything that comes along with it,
Yep.
and how we reached its current states today.
Yeah, that's true.
So, wife, you want to go ahead and start us off with how has hair been for you? Start at your youngest of days. How have you felt about your hair? Like, what's formed your opinion of the beauty standard of hair for you personally?
Wow. Well, from the youngest of days, my mommy was doing my hair. And so she kind of decided what it was going to be. And actually, funny story because I've told you this before, but for y'all out there, if you remember, or probably have never seen, but if you have seen Ghost Dad, there's a little girl and she had hair actually similar. I mean, hers was like super pretty, like natural curls, right? So I was going to say somewhat similar to what we got going on here, but whatever. So the youngest girl on that movie, I always wanted to have hair just like her. And my mom asked me if I wanted to get a perm. And so I was like, okay, yeah, because I thought that meant I was going to end up getting hair like her. And so I go to the salon for the very first time in my life, and the lady is like, she's doing what she does. And what's crazy is I actually don't remember any of the chemical. Well, as I say this, I feel like I can remember her asking me, like, "Are you doing okay? Like, you like, are you okay? Is it hurting?" But that's also what I've heard so many years following that. So it might just be imagining that into the memory. I really don't know for absolute sure. But regardless, that's besides the point. The point here is that, she went through the whole process. There were chemicals involved. And then all of a sudden, she's blow drying my hair. It's super straight. And then she's like, "So what do you think?" And I was like, I remember. And at this point I don't know that my mom would even remember, but I think I was maybe, I was going to say 9. For sure, not older than 9. Absolute 100% sure, not older than 9. I think. We might need to lower the percentage. Again, besides the point, a child. So somewhere between the age of 5 and 10,
Wow.
because that's what I was like, was I 10? But yeah, so 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. One of those years. Okay, and I really think it was closer to the younger years, and I'm gonna have to ask to find out. But anyways, I it's bone straight, and I'm like, I remember the fact that I was like, yeah, it's pretty, and I remember this. I am 100% sure about that. I said to the stylist, but it's not done. Like and then my mom says, "What? It is done. Like, what do you mean it's not done?" I was like, it's still straight." And she's like, "Yeah." And I was just so disappointed. And then the only thing that, like, was like, you always look for the positive. I thought it was amazing that I could actually comb my hair myself. Like, it just went right through. So I was like,
Yeah.
oh, well, okay. And from that day forward, like, up until 20 something, I was getting relaxers every, I don't know, 6 weeks maybe. I don't remember how often.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so here, fast forward to, oh, we haven't even talked ages actually, but fast forward to this man. As I'm like older, in my older years, um, this guy here is like completely amazing, right? Like, what man out there? I don't know. Like, y'all leave a comment, tell me.
Oh boy.
Like, does your husband ever like help you do your hair? Because I never in my life knew that I would have such a man, and it's just it's a gift, and it's amazing. And he too wants
Yeah.
and likes loves like the natural, and is trying to help me get my natural curls. So he does like what he does, like he'll like help me. Like I started out twisting my own hair, and then I don't know, babe, like what made you like jump in actually?
Well, because it was a bit much on you. It wasn't your preferred activity.
I mean, that's true. I'd much rather have somebody do my hair, but like, going to a salon.
Yeah, so it wasn't really your preferred activity.
Right.
And with that being the case, the ease of you going to your appointments and getting your
Mm.
hair straightened was very appealing to you. And having
Well,
to do the process yourself at home to try and get the preferred style of your natural curls, it wasn't seeming as appealing having to put in all of that work
I mean,
on
that's
a
true.
daily basis to maintain and upkeep the style.
That's true.
So that's where I come in to, make sure that we can both have that look that we would prefer to have without you having to put in so much effort around it. I don't mind doing it, so I'm willing to do that in order to
See,
get the result we'd like to have.
and that's the part that's like crazy. Oh, I don't mind doing it, and I would love to reciprocate. And it's like, oh, okay, sure, babe. And like for me, it's more so like I'm gonna do this for you. Like I
That
want
part.
to like show you love, whereas you love what you're doing and showing me love by doing my hair. Whereas, I hope
Yeah.
that made sense somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially since it's something that you always wanted. That's why it's so
Yeah.
important to me to try and give you what you want, because this is something that you would like to have.
Yeah.
It's something you've always wanted. So I would like to be able to provide that for you, to get you the desired style that you have always wanted to have.
And
So,
it's been a journey, and it's
yeah.
it's insane to see progress in hair, because
Yeah,
like I
literally.
just wouldn't think that like you would see much change, but there absolutely is. But one thing that has remained the same is two different like
Yeah.
things going on the sides. Like this side of my head completely different than this side of my head. And as you can go back through all the videos, and it's already it was I saw it at the beginning of this one. I was trying to keep this behind there, because then like it just creates the illusion that like this side looks like this side, all the way down here. But no, because this side, it just curls up so tight. Look, what? It's like this. You can't even see this hand. That's how far it goes down. You can't even see this hand. And this one's all the way up here.
Yeah, man.
Like, what?
Hair is amazing
And
and complex.
and like all this probably needs cut, trimmed off, but we're trying to get it closer to this. So it's like, haven't had a trim, and then it's like this the fear of like, because even with getting my hair straightened, and I'm not talking, because it eventually stopped the relaxers. Eventually it was like, okay, I'm done with the relaxers, and I would just get a flat iron. And I don't know why I ever had a relaxer in my life. I don't think my mom realized that like somebody could just use a flat iron and you don't even need chemicals. But you know,
Yeah.
oh, but she wasn't going to do that. I think that's probably what it was. Because that somebody would have been her. So, because she was the one that gave us, I have a sister as well. So, she gave me and my sister relaxers. So, you know, whatever was quick and easy for her, that's what was done. And, yeah. So, anyways, what was I saying? Oh, I think I was talking about like well, actually, I don't know what I was saying. Was I on the fear of cutting, like a trim? Because
Yeah, you said
I don't
that.
know that I even finished that. I don't know, we got to my mom somehow. Oh, yes, that is why it was. Because even with having my hair flat ironed and getting a trim, they would chop my hair off. Like, I would go in with my hair down here and walk out with a trim and had like a whole bob. Like, I walked in with long hair. I asked for a trim, not a haircut, a trim, cut the dead ends, and my whole hair would get chopped off. So,
Yeah.
you know, how if that happened while it was straight, I don't know what's gonna happen while it's curly because, you know, it's the shrinkage. So
Yeah, man.
it's such a process, and then there's products and what products work, and then there's the like trying to keep it moisturized
Yeesh.
and looking like it's not dry but like, you know, healthy and moisturized and all the things.
Yeah, man.
Babe, I forgot
All
my
the things.
earrings.
Oh no.
Devastation. How many women
Devastation.
out there,
Oh
like, if
goodness.
you don't have your earrings in,
Devastation.
you feel naked and you feel like your
Oh
whole
no.
outfit, like, I mean, you know, thankfully it's just a casual shirt, but still, no earrings? Devastation.
Oh my goodness. Devastation.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a process. Products, trims, what to do, and then like I feel like everyone else that does have these natural curls, it's literally natural. They don't even have to twist their hair. Like it's just, you know, mine's twisted. But then also not because it is curls or else see it does come down, but then bing right back, right back up.
The
So,
sound effects.
and that doesn't happen on this
That's
side. It
fun.
just stays down. It just stays down. So it's a struggle. I'm on the hair struggle bus. How do you feel about
Mm-hmm.
your hair, babe? What was it growing up? You know, how did it start? Where do you
Mm.
feel you are now? Where do you want to be?
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot. I would say that growing up from my youngest of ages until maybe I was about just into the teen years, I always had my hair short. It was always the typical hairstyle you would see that is socially acceptable, which is the low, close crop, maybe a fade, and that's about it. That's about as far as it goes for us. You know, we may get to do put some waves in our hair, but that's about it.
Right?
It stayed pretty much close to my head. It was always just a very low, like buzz cut fade type deal for me.
Hmm.
And that didn't really change until I say maybe I was about anywhere between 12 to 14 is when I first started growing my hair out. But only slightly because it was around that time that shout out to Usher, man. He started wearing his hair in the south of France mohawk style.
Okay,
So
yeah.
you know it was still pretty short. It wasn't much of an afro there. He didn't have much length, but
Right.
he had a little bit to where you could put a little couple curls in it on all up top and around the back, and the sides were shaved with the fade on both
Yeah.
sides.
So you had the south of France.
So I had the south of France, and that was my first experience with
How'd you know it was called
growing.
that?
Because man, this was a big deal, man. This was a big deal. The
But
research that went into it and the decision making behind, because I had to have the pitch ready,
okay. Oh,
because
right.
with that being the case, like my father, he didn't really care much about anything, honestly.
Goodness.
he, do whatever you want with your hair. It doesn't matter. He he
Right.
he didn't really care about hair. So his hair was always a very interesting texture. It was very naturally curly, but thin and but full. And he would wear it out, but it was also usually he kept his hair short, but at times when he would grow it out, it would never be like crazy, crazy, but he would grow it out a little bit because he had really nice, loose curls, which my
Mm,
mother was a fan of. She liked that.
yeah.
So that would be the hair he would wear. But
Yeah.
naturally, my hair is thicker.
Right.
My hair has always been thicker,
But still curly.
thicker, coarser. So, but still curly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I would always have my hair short because that would be the preference to be presentable, as society would call
Dang.
it,
Right.
to
Yeah.
have your hair be a certain way for the perception of the world,
I know
not
it.
necessarily what it is that you represent yourself through your actions and your personality and the things that you stand for. None of that really matter because when people see you, their perception will be one way, regardless of who you are as a person. From first glance, they're either going to see, oh, wow, his hair is really short and close cropped and precise and neat. He must be a great person,
Mm,
which is not at all the case.
right.
So that was the idea. So growing up, that was the preference of my parents, my mother specifically, of how, as a black man, I would be showing up in the world,
Yeah.
having my hair very short. So after I wore the South of France little short mohawk for a while, and then later on, a couple years later, I grew my hair out a little more. It was the first time having like a little mini fro. It was
Mm,
very short, but I liked it.
yeah.
So I let it grow a little bit, let it grow a little bit, and then cut most of it off and tried the high top fade. And anybody that knows our styles, that's iconic. It's iconic to
Yeah.
get in on the high top phase when high top phase really weren't even in style anymore at the
Mm-hmm.
time. But it's like I was rocking it.
I bet
I
you
was
were,
rocking
babe.
it, man, and it was an experience. I enjoyed it
Yeah, I'm
because for
sure
me
you
it was
did.
like this is the first time having my hair be a different way.
Yes.
It's a different variation, a different expression of self. You
Yeah.
know, something that I could enjoy and experiment with and actually enjoyed the look of it, the style of it. It was also interesting seeing what my hair was and could be if it was allowed to grow
Yeah.
unhindered.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Because that was another interesting thing. Because, since I always wore my hair short, I never knew the potential that my hair would have. I never thought that this would be what my hair could do. I didn't know my hair could grow this long, honestly,
Yeah.
because nobody else in my family really has hair like this.
Mm-hmm.
No one else has grown their hair out this long.
Right.
Like, my brother's hair is incredibly short. He's always worn it super short as well. And
Yeah.
then the times that he would grow it out, he's like, he has very, very tight, coarse coils. So it doesn't even, the actual length it may have, you never really get to see it fully represented. So, and
Right.
even by then, he
Right.
usually cuts it all off again
Right.
and starts fresh. So you never got to see that. And with our father, he would let it grow a little bit, but then it really wouldn't get too long for our mother would want him to cut it again, and it get a little shorter, and then he'd be able to curl it up and all the nice things again. So from there, I would say I was about maybe 15 or 16 when I finally reached a place where I was deciding, you know what? I think I do want to grow my hair out. I was tired of the short hair that I
Mhm.
had worn my entire life. I was thinking, you know what? I actually like locks now. Like
Mhm.
I got to a point in a phase where it's like I was coming into my own identity as a
Mhm.
black man and embracing it fully, and all of the vast ways in which we can show up and represent ourselves, and all the beautiful ways that our hair can be.
Yeah.
That it really opened up a new avenue for me to realize that, because for the longest time, I was too one of those people that preferred my hair being short, close crop. You have a crisp lineup and you get your fade right, and I was cool with that. I
Mhm.
had my do rag, I had my wave cap, I put it on at night. The waves were there, 360.
Yeah.
Understand, the waves were always possible.
Mhm.
So I did have that for quite a while. But like I said, when I finally got to a place in life where it's like, I think I would actually like to embrace the possibility of what my hair could be.
Mhm.
But of course, it's like that was a no go. That was no go because society frowns upon locks in the professional world
Mhm.
and in society as a whole. People view locks as dirty and
Mhm.
dingy and your hair is unkept. But honestly, it depends on the style that you
Mhm.
choose to do. A lot of people are misinformed of the difference between locks and dreadlocks. Never really wanted dreadlocks. I preferred locks. Something a little more stylized, manicured, neat. That was my preference for me. That's what I was going for. A
Mhm.
neater look,
Yeah.
but longer hair nonetheless.
Mhm.
But that ended up being a no go. So what I did instead, we settled upon me growing my hair out a little bit more again, and that was always one of those things that was a little bit of a back and forth through the teen years of we were in this cycle of I would go so long with not getting my hair cut to the point where it's like, nope, it's time for the haircut again,
Mhm.
because it was inching longer into the territory of, you actually could potentially get your locks started with your hair being that long, and that's not the style that's preferred at this point in life.
Yeah.
So it was a no go. So after that, it was finally, I would say, I it was 2020. 2020 was the first time I had my hair braided. I never had my hair braided at any
Really?
point in life.
I don't remember knowing that.
Yeah, it was 2020.
Okay.
2020.
Wow.
Yeah, because I remember it was December of 2019. I had a big haircut again because I grew my hair out. It was a whole like medium length fro at that point, maybe
Mhm.
about half the length of this, maybe a little less than half of where it is now. And then I cut my hair, and it was again like in a high top fade again.
Mhm.
So in letting it grow back in, that was the first experimentation of braiding my hair, a sort of happy medium of, it's not locks, but it's also not close crop. Got a
Right.
little bit of length and still be a little stylized and embrace a
Mm.
little bit more of the culture behind it.
Yeah.
So I had my hair braided, had a little top knot going. It was the first time having braids. Couldn't tell me nothing. You couldn't tell me nothing
Right.
when I had those braids in my head. It's
Right.
like, yo, this is nice. This is real nice. This is what I've been wanting.
Yeah.
And then it was that point that I said, you know what? I think I think I'm into the braids. I think I prefer the braids over the locks solely for the versatility that
Mm.
exists with my hair.
Mhm.
Like growing out my hair from that point, I will say that also 2020, that was the last time I had like a haircut.
Mhm.
My hair has not been cut really since 2020.
Right.
I've done trims where I'll do the lineup, the edges, all of that. I may take the sides in a little bit. So you can see I usually do shave the sides just a little bit, do a little fade underneath, and in the back as well, do a little bit back there without. That's pretty much it.
Mhm.
I have not cut my hair since 2020, and I've loved that journey. Seeing my hair transform and grow now that it has the ability to do so
Right.
unhindered. And that's been beautiful.
Mhm.
Seeing the growth throughout it and all of its different phases where I now have access to all of these different hairstyles. Because most of you may not have even noticed that I had this much hair because
Right.
in most of our videos, I do
You
have it
pull it back, yeah.
pulled back into a ponytail.
Right.
So this usually not showing the actual length of my hair.
Right. Yeah.
And then even the one time I did have my hair worn out in an afro before, I didn't pick my hair out fully, so it was still curled, it was still
Mm.
coiled, so some of the shrinkage and the length of it
Mhm.
you wouldn't really see.
Right. And
So
I
that's
kind of don't remember what episode that was.
yeah, I believe it was our holiday special and episode 3.
Okay.
Episode 3 of season 1
Mind.
where
If you are correct, mind
yeah,
blowing.
for sure. It was episode 3
That's
because remember
ridiculous.
episode 1 was introduction to us, episode 2 was the meaning of mutual intentional love. And then we got to episode 3 how we got to the name of mutual intentional love.
Okay.
So yeah, that was a good time. Good time for sure.
Yeah.
Also ironic. What are the odds that that was episode 3 of season 1 was the only episode in the season that I had out my hair in a fro, and now here we are, season 2,
Oh yeah.
episode 3, and the fro is back. The fro is back, bigger and better than ever.
Yeah.
That's fun.
It is fun.
Yeah, so I would say that was a big deal for me, you know, with my own hair journey, seeing all the different things that it can do. It can be in braids, it can be in cornrows all the way back,
Yeah.
and then seeing the actual length start to show up because it wasn't there before, and now it is.
Mhm. Yeah.
So that's crazy. In just a few years' time, I will say though, like it's at times frustrating not knowing what to do with my hair,
Oh yeah.
you know, because I've tried the sponges, I've tried different
Mhm.
products in it to really see what different variations of curls are possible with my hair. And that's been quite a journey because sometimes it just shrinks so much
I
from the
know.
product. It's like
But I
you
still
would
like it.
never know I have this much hair, and I would prefer at times to see those defined curls with my length,
I mean, of course. Yeah. Don't we
but
all?
it's usually not much of an option.
Yeah.
So that part's a little bit unfortunate, but it's enjoyable for me.
Yeah.
And I will also say that you were a part of embracing wearing my afro out
I know.
because before, in the earlier stages of growing out my hair, I wouldn't wear my afro out as much, you know. I would wear it around the house and that would be fine, but if I was going somewhere and going out, my hair would usually be pulled back into a ponytail when it was long enough to do that.
Mhm.
I wouldn't necessarily wear my hair out in an afro style.
Right.
And now that I've had that support,
Yes.
of it and a different view of it, and have had the love of my hair as it is.
Yeah, I love
You
it.
know, I was able to embrace what it is as well
Yeah.
and appreciate it more for what it is and be comfortable enough to wear it out
Mm-hmm.
and enjoy it.
Yep.
So, yeah, that was a really big deal. Another thing that I can look back on and remember, it was a big moment for me after seeing all of this happen was back in 2019 when the Crown Act was finally passed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like that was historic, you
Yeah.
know?
Mm-hmm.
So where they could no longer discriminate against our hairstyles, our natural
Right.
hairstyles
Yeah.
for protective styles
Good thing,
or
because
I
yeah,
know.
I'm in corporate America,
It's
and
it's it's a big thing.
I bet you there's some days they wanted to say something.
It is a really big thing.
Like,
And
sorry.
that's one of the things that once I came to the place that I am now that has always perturbed me. Like the perception of a person for who they are solely from how they choose to wear their hair.
Yeah.
As if that in any way affects how it is they're able to navigate the world
Mm-hmm.
and get a job done.
Yeah. Right.
Like it has no bearing one
Right.
way or another.
Right.
It's simply their hair.
I know. It's
And
yeah.
now I do understand there are certain people who take things to extremes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There are some people who abuse the freedoms that they're given. But that shouldn't be a reflection of everyone. Remove the option entirely for those to where it is simply a choice of a hairstyle and
Mm-hmm.
it is something that can be seen as being valuable, having value without the negative connotations ascribed to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's usually what happens.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that was a big thing and honestly it's still shocking to me at this point from 2019 to all the way here now in 2025, only 24 states have adopted the Crown Act.
Wow.
So it's still not in all 50 states.
Your mind is amazing. Like,
It's crazy to me
how do you remember like all this?
because it was I remember it was important to me when this moment happened
Mm-hmm.
and for us as a whole and for society and for our culture and for our children now
Right.
like that's a big thing for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I want our daughters to be able to wear their hair however they see fit
Exactly. Yeah.
without that being a negative reflection on who they are. I don't want them judged because they choose to wear their hair natural and curly, or if they want
Mm-hmm.
to wear braids or locks. They should be allowed to do that
Mm-hmm.
and have the freedom to do so.
Yep. And
And now it's still now only in 24 states.
well,
And that only extends only one state, Colorado, of all states, like good on you, Colorado, but wow, has extended the Crown Act to cover private schools to where they
wow.
can't discriminate against hairstyles in private schools. But even all the other 23 states and the other ones that they're still able to do whatever they want to in private schools.
Wow.
They can tell you, no, you can't wear your hair that length. No, you can't wear your hair in that style.
That's sad.
And it is. It's very unfortunate. Very unfortunate indeed.
Yeah.
But this is definitely something that I'm passionate about and something that I want to instill in our daughters a love of their hair.
Yeah. Because we both have a lot of hair,
A
and
lot of it.
so our babies came out full heads of hair. And you can
Yeah,
kind of
man.
see it's a little blurry, but
Yep.
you can see her little fro up there, and even
Yeah,
the
man.
baby in my arms, like that little dark spot. That's
Yeah,
her
man.
hair.
A girl's got
Trying to,
some beautiful curls for
yeah,
sure.
absolutely. Oh my gosh, like
Yeah,
so beautiful.
absolutely.
And yeah, so they should they should, yeah, I definitely want them to be able to just
Yeah,
be as they are because they're gorgeous.
for sure.
Hmm. Beautifully made.
Yeah. So
Yep.
yeah, all of that is to say, embrace your hair, love your hair,
Hmm.
and really allow yourself the freedom to experiment with your hair. You know, take care of it,
Yeah,
nurture it. It's an extension of who you are, it's an extension of who your essence is, your culture, your roots. Everything that you come from, everything that you are, appreciate it.
absolutely.
Because at the end of the day, these are the things that make us who we are. And how the world sees us is one of the ways in which we can present ourselves. And honestly, I love where we currently are and the potential that
Yeah,
our hair still has to reach.
it's coming along,
For sure.
and just like you said, that support it absolutely helps so much. And I know we're wrapping up, but you know how my brain just goes. And I just wanted to give one clarification because at the
Ooh.
beginning of this,
Mm-hmm.
I said that you know when I was talking about going stand little girl and I went to the salon,
Yeah.
and yeah, so to get that first perm, which was actually a relaxer,
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to clarify like that was like the only time in my life that I went to a salon. And even then, my mom was like, I like until I was an adult, like so, it's meaning that
Yeah.
with my mom, like with my parents, like the
Mm-hmm.
next time I went to the salon, it was me taking myself,
Yeah.
and in my 20s. And so that whole growing up stage, I went to the salon one time, and
Mm-hmm.
then and even then my mom was like, "Yeah, I could have did that myself," but I guess she just was like worried about like me being so young and didn't know if that mattered with what she did know as far as putting a
Yeah.
relaxer in somebody's hair.
Yeah, for sure.
And once she saw that no, that's the same thing I do, she just continued to do it from that point on. And so, yeah, so just to clarify, because I said she would be the one doing it, and that was fact. And then because then when we talked about with me and you, it's like
Yeah.
you started to do my hair, and I was like, yeah, I'd much rather go to the salon. That's not how I was raised, and then I think that's also another reason. Like it's like
Yeah.
that's a self
Mm-hmm.
care amazingness.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
what? Like yeah, I like it's a nice experience. Other than
Mm-hmm.
the weight is ridiculous,
Yeah.
but I ended up finding a place where there it wasn't so bad.
Yeah.
So so I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, and I love that you mentioned the self care aspect of
Oh
it
right.
because taking care of your hair is absolutely self care. And on top of that, if you are a couple like us,
Hmm.
like that is quality time when you do each other's hair.
Yeah,
Like taking that time, you
definitely.
wash it and condition it and style each other's hair. That is beautiful quality time together.
Yeah.
Like that's one of the things that we do, and it's important to me especially that we have that connection, that bond, and that we're able to do that. Although now mentioning this, I realize while we're talking about hair, I didn't even mention the beard journey.
Oh goodness.
I didn't mention the beard, people, because
Yeah.
that within itself is crazy.
It's its own glory.
It is. It is. That I always wanted. I
Yeah.
always wanted a
Hmm.
full beard.
And
Even
you have
as
it,
a child,
which I also love.
I appreciated the beard.
Yeah.
Like I would color in my coloring books and there would be characters, they didn't have a beard. I say, you know what? This character would look better with a beard. I will make my
No way. You
alterations to
didn't
the
tell me
coloring
that.
books. Yes, I will make my alterations to the coloring books. You know, I changed the color palette, all of these wonderful things with my artistic freedom. I would use that. You know what? Add that beard right on in. I
So
just add
funny.
a beard to this character. So,
Yeah.
you know, that was another thing that always was something that stood out to me that I knew I had a desire for in my life,
Yeah.
but didn't really have the best of odds of achieving it because no one in my family has a beard. I
Right.
have never seen a single other family member on my mother's side of the family or on my father's side of the family with a beard.
It's so
It's
crazy.
either they're always either fully clean shaven or at most like a mustache or some stubble.
Mm-hmm.
That was like it. That was the norm. That's all I would see. So even my father, he would have like stubble. That was it. But mostly he would wear it in a goatee.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. A very short goatee and nothing else. And then my brother, he was only able to grow a mustache. Even still to this day, that's about all he was able to grow. A couple of chin hairs and a mustache. And then for me, it started with the sideburns. The sideburns came all the way down, then the mustache, couple of chin hairs, and then still keep in mind all of this was like nowhere to be found. It was incredibly short hair, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it grew from there and it finally connected to the sideburns. And then I had the chin strap style all the way around. So that was nice. But then the goatee would not connect. So I had a mustache and then the chin strap, but there the goatee wouldn't connect. This, for the life of me, it would not grow in here or here. So what could you do? I still kept it because there's hair on my face right now.
Right.
And at this point I had to be I also started growing facial hair like I'd say maybe about 11.
That's
It
crazy.
happened. It happened early. It started happening very early. Maybe I say about
Wait,
11 or
were
12.
you younger than 11 given doing the coloring book beards?
Absolutely. Like I remember and still
so,
had the
so
coloring
you
books.
manifested your beard?
Absolutely, absolutely.
I
I
love that.
remember I would be watching Sesame Street, and I still have the memory of watching Sesame Street. And there was a Spider-Man coloring book specifically,
Oh my gosh.
and they had a picture of Peter Parker in there. And I said, you know what? Let me give him a beard because why does Spider-Man not have a beard right now? And I tell you,
That is so funny to
that was an
me.
experience. That was absolutely an experience
Yeah.
for me. Growing out the facial hair, it was incredibly short, and then just letting it do what it does. It's been cut several times, all the
Mm-hmm.
way almost all the way off. I've never been complete since my facial hair started growing. I've never been clean shaven. I've never went
Which is not
completely
allowed anyways.
barefaced. It's never happened at any point.
Yeah.
But I
No need.
did definitely cut it down quite a few times. Although I do plan on at some point experimenting with different facial hairstyles. My wife is a little
Mm.
nervous about that when she's pretty adamant on keeping the beard. But
Mm-hmm.
you never
Mm-hmm.
know. Later on down the line, season 12, y'all might see me finally cut off the beard. You might see goatee. I've been wanting to try a goatee for a
Okay.
while.
Okay. I mean, yeah. Yeah.
Try the
Yeah.
goatee, see what's happening under there. Break
Yeah.
out the
I'm
jawbone.
just talking
You
about
know,
like no facial hair.
I honestly don't.
No.
I don't think I need to see that ever again in life. I
Yeah.
don't think.
I don't think you do
I
either.
think once was enough. It had ran its course as a child,
Mm-hmm.
so I can let that go. I don't think I need to see underneath the facial
Okay.
hair
Yeah.
ever again.
Yeah.
I think we're good on that. Good on that for sure.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah, that has been the beard journey to where we are now, where my beard is the longest it's ever been.
I was gonna say I'm just hoping as we continue to grow in love that I don't join you on the beer journey. That's my
Yo,
hope.
could you imagine?
Yeah, I feel like I can. Oh boy, I mean certainly not like yours. No,
Yo, that's
no,
crazy,
not
man.
like yours. But
But
I've seen it. I've
yeah,
seen it happen to women.
yeah, for sure.
I hear about it.
Hmm.
You get that one chinny chin chin hair, and it's like,
Yeah, man. Don't pluck it.
excuse me. Yeah.
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 That's fun.
It is fun. So,
Mm,
once again, embrace exactly who you are.
yeah. You only get one life. It's too short. Experiment, enjoy the process, and embrace the possibilities. You know, if you want to dye your hair, go dye your hair. If you want to wear your hair short, wear your hair short. If you want to grow it long, grow it long. If you want to cut it all off and rock the bald head, do that.
Mm-hmm.
Do whatever feels right for you at the time you are in your life. You know?
Agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, as always, everybody, thank you for joining us. We hope to see you again in the next episode. Stay well and prosper, everybody. Peace.
Thanks for making it to the end.
And much appreciation for all your support
If you haven't already, please subscribe, like, and comment.
across all platforms.